So my camera ran out of battery, and it's now Wednesday evening, so I have to improvise with a phone camera. So we'll see how good this is because this is a new phone. I have a very official pile of old books and stuff to go through, of stuff that I've written that when I was 8, 12, I'm going to call this 14, and something I wrote about a month ago. So we'll just see. My first writing escapade that I found in the mess under my bed is called The Four Fairy Wonders. I had a little cover and everything. I'm going to skip the prologue. We don't need no prologue. Okay. There's no chapter 1. It just says, in the magical land at the top there. So let's begin. Dear God. Oh, this is terrible. Just terrible, worried the Queen. We have not even located these humans yet. They're supposed to be fairies. I don't know why I said humans there. Oh no, Queen, we have just located them, but they're moving in different directions in twos, explained the Queen's butler. Oh fine, just use the enchanted teleporter. ... I was so enthusiastic. I had a pause, literally, like, I didn't just skip a couple of lines, I literally wrote a pause. Oh, it's like... Oh, okay. It's like a pause to say the reason the fairies were able to track the children down was the children's personalities are like their element. For example, the fire child or fairy has a fiery temper. As for wind, everything just blows in one way. What does that mean? What were you thinking, 8-year-old Rachel? I don't... In the prologue, I literally say, it is so said that these attacks will increase over March. We have had 9 human deaths so far. So I talk about human death in this. I'm just going to let you know that now because we'll move on to 12-year-old Rachel. Oh, the character's name is a character name that I stole from a manga that I read. Do you remember the manga? I just know I stole it from a manga. So we have the choking smoke filled his lungs and the fire clung to his skin but didn't burn it. Harry's body was spilling out fire. It came from his nose, mouth, eyes, ears and the top of his fingertips. No matter how hard he tried to stop it, the raw energy kept pumping it out. God, you can see the dramatic change from fairies to fire, but had a rough couple of years. His will and stubbornness just wasn't enough to tame the beast that he had once considered a gift. I'm just going to give you a briefing because I actually remember my entire plan for this. Basically, the plotline of a manga that I read, I'm such a plagiarist, called Gakuen Alice. It was about like the school for talented individuals. It was kind of based on that. There was this guy who could control fire, which he doesn't have very good control over anyway, and it like is like this dark energy. But his friend Sora from Kingdom Hearts, which I love, by the way. You can see the future, so this is his premonition that I'm reading out now. And then this other girl, Brooke, and her friend Luke, they both came to this school where these two people were, and Luke followed Brooke, forced to go there by this evil woman who kidnapped her brother. But in any case, it was very sinister, and it did involve death. I've got, here we go into my dystopian phase, kind of set the scene. The sky was blue and the sun shone brightly, but it wasn't warm, just cool. It was the same weather as it had been every single summer for the past 50 years and counting, and it felt fake, artificial and organized on my skin. I know the sunlight shouldn't feel wrong. It's the only sun I've ever known, but I can't help but stop something deep inside me from screaming out, "Stop! No! Tell the world! This is not what sunlight feels like. It should feel like joy and happiness." I personally have no idea where this voice comes from. A past life, maybe? Wow, Rachel. Really hinting at it there. That idea was to do with a girl who was from the past, who was frozen because she was so clever, brought into this dystopian future. Dystopian future time! Yay! Okay. Her name was Maya, and she also had a friend who followed her. Let's do this. We're moving on to the thing I wrote. I'll last modified in April. This is chapter 1, so I haven't gone back to it in a while. I've written about 4 chapters. I procrastinate, like, I don't know, insert simile there. I'm going to skip to my favourite paragraph. I know this one pretty well. Okay, here we go. In a flash, my nails are through her bonnet and embedded in her skull. With this access to her brain, I reach out with my mind until I find a spark. She's not particularly strong, but I'm sure she won't be the first I drain tonight. I pull at the spark and it moves towards me. With it I feel power, strength, agility, awareness. In my hands the woman begins to shrivel, her muscles wasting away. Pulling this fuel, this life force, I put it into storage until there's nothing left to take. I feel replenished, full of possibilities. That's so much better. I think a recurring theme in my writing is death and murder, but I don't know, I was just sharing my creative style. I like writing dark stuff. Ever since I was a kid and I wrote about attacks on humans and fairies being their saviour. I couldn't even write a happy fairy story. Oh, that was me trying to be creative. I went to see West Side Story today with my school, which is why I'm back so late. But look, I made a video. Okay, goodbye. Oh, I found this while I was under my bed as well, which is a card that I made for my friend that I never gave to her, in which I used the wrong version of the word your, which just makes me want to cry. Okay, moving